Alrighty, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hearth Wars. My name is Osmokudi, and I'm joined again by Reynad. We apologize for the delay there. We're just making sure that the streams were good to go, so we don't have a single point of view like we did, unfortunately, for the third place match. But this grand final will be a best of five between Team Good Guys Dart and Team Good Guys Firebat for the grand prize of $160. Woo!
Yeah,
Hype.
should be cool to see. I'm excited to see like what Hearth Wars turns into. You know, in the like week after week or as it grows. It's a pretty cool idea, and yeah, every tournament has its speed bumps in the beginning, but this has gone pretty smoothly.
Yeah. Again, like you guys can follow us on Twitter at Hearth Wars. You can email us hearthwars@gmail.com. The information has been on the screen the whole day. Give us some feedback. This is the first round of this tournament, the first iteration of this tournament. We'll really want to make it better for you guys. So right now it should be a bi-weekly tournament. We have every plan to increase the buy-in as the weeks go by. Higher stakes, higher tournament production, higher tournament value. So it should be good. So keep posted, keep followed, give us your feedback. Thanks for staying tuned, and thanks Reynad for letting us use your home.
It's all good. Yeah, I wasn't using it this afternoon, so yeah, looks like we're seeing Shaman versus Warrior. It's a matchup that in my opinion favors Shaman pretty heavily, but it can go either way. Cards like Brawl, Baron Geddon can really turn the tide. Pretty safe openers, I think, for both players to start off with. I think we're looking at Firebat right now, down there on the cam.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit backwards. He's eating a little snack. Staying energized. The key to winning any Hearthstone match.
Absolutely. There we go. Whirlwind. Well, that's probably not the play. I guess do you finish off the 1/1? I
mean, you can Taskmaster into the Harvest Golem and then Whirlwind, and you clear off his Harvest Golem and get a buttload of armor, and he has a 1/1 with no Divine Shield on the board, and you have a 2/1 on the board.
Yeah. Ugh, all these options are pretty messy. I think what I would do is just attack the 1/1 there, and then Taskmaster it, and then his Golem would attack the Taskmaster, but then your Armor Smith. Oh boy. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of choices here. This was one of the reasons, though, that the Shaman deck is so favored. The creatures are just so tough to answer effectively. This play is honestly probably even better than the Taskmaster play, where you just do nothing, because that 1/1, there's no reason to kill it if it's just going to die to that Whirlwind that you're playing anyway. So yeah, might as well just hold off, armor up a bit. Really wants to see a War Axe to deal with that Golem.
Oh, jeez.
It's pretty strong, but it does have Corkron Elite, so it could be a lot worse.
Where's the second one? Yeah, Corkron Elite seems to be the obvious play here. This can get rough territory. I think it's tough. We'll have to see what cards Firebat has in this Warrior deck. I'm sure they're on the same team, and I'm sure they theorycraft together all the time. Whenever I speak to Dart, he always talks about Firebat and his deck building skills all the time. So I'm sure these guys are very, very, very familiar with each other's decks and exactly what they have in them. They probably built the decks with each other going into this tournament, I'm sure, or had some help in it. So we'll have to see what Firebat has in this Warrior deck to be able to deal with Shaman, but it's tough. You said these creatures are really annoying, especially if you don't get the draw early on. Sometimes you end up using 2 to 3 cards to try and clear like a single Harvest Golem off, which never feels good.
Yeah, like one of the strengths of Warrior is that it's basically has a lot of effective spot removal, so just like really good at killing stuff. But the thing with Shaman is none of his creatures are really good to kill because they all get value on the way in. They're all or on the way out in the case of Harvest Golem. Through Battle Cry, like Gnomish Inventor, Defender of Argus, Fire Elemental, Argent Commander. Like these cards all do something. You're never just unless you're playing Chillwind Yeti in your deck or Unbound Elemental. very few of your creatures are ever going to just trade one for one. And that really puts a damper on Control Warrior's plan. On top of that, the hero powers match up in Shaman's favor. Shaman is one of the best hero powers for control mirrors. It's actually even better than Warriors because Warriors only scales, or sorry, I'm sorry. It's better than Warlocks because Warlocks scales in the mid game, but towards the late game you have to stop life tapping even in control matchups. Whereas the Shaman hero power is just strong the entire way through. Early, late, the totems all have a strong effect in the matchup. You know, Healing Totem protects your creatures from Whirlwind. Taunt Totem messes with their weapons and Kor'kron elites. Spell Power Totem makes your spells like just more effective at killing stuff. So none of the totems you can really ignore as the warrior, aside from the 1/1 sometimes. And they're all just really tough to kill, you know, unless you're playing Baron Geddon. That's one of the only efficient answers.
Yeah, I remember hearing, I think Kit Kat used to put Baron Geddon in his warrior deck all the time, and I remember him justifying, he said Shaman matchup was so weak that he needed a card that was a late game threat that could also just help him survive something in the Shaman matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And Baron Geddon was that card.
Yeah, it's definitely winnable from the warrior side, but it's a tough matchup.
Karen is tough to play too because, you know, you see the card in his hand that he's had from his like very first mulligan that's been on the left side of his hand that he hasn't played. You know it, when you play that Karen, it's going to get hexed.
Yeah, it's most of the time it's the case. I tend to like to play those cards early because the earlier you play it, the less likely it is that the Shaman is hexed. I mean, if it does get hexed, yeah, it's not a great trade for you. You spent 6 mana on a card, they spent 3 mana on a card, but hex is always going to be great against Control Warriors. So the earlier you can get it out of their hand, the more likely it makes it that your future big threats survive. Oh man, another Harvest Golem. Oh, Brawl's good. He really needs a way to pull ahead on cards, though.
Yeah, he already used one of his acolytes a little earlier on, and I mean, you look at this removal. In order to get rid of a threat, in order to get rid of a big threat, he's got to use 2 cards. He's going to have to use either the Whirlwind in the execute, the Taskmaster in the execute. So when that Fire Elemental comes down, unless he gets rid of it with a Brawl, well, I guess a Brawl would probably be really good for the next turn. Because he's running out of cards, he's running out of answers. Oh, War Axe. A little bit too late.
I think you have to Brawl right now.
Yeah. Especially only seeing 2 cards in his hand.
Yeah. See, whenever a warrior does nothing like this with like 4-card hand, it's pretty clear what's going on. I'm pretty sure Doomhammer draws good too because it lets him develop the board without having to commit another creature to Brawl. Yeah, it's like there's no way he plays Fire Elemental here. 0 chance.
Oh,
Yeah, Doomhammer in, and this is just, oh, yeah, Shaman deck is so far ahead at this point.
So, and suddenly, Dart
appears on the screen.
Miraculously.
Alright. Brawl gets in there, and, believe that is game.
Indeed,
he is at 8. 8 plus 2 armor.
Yeah, or 9 plus 2 armor.
Yeah, any single digit.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, it looks like Dart with that Shaman deck. That's the only deck we've seen him run thus far today. Is that Shaman deck? He's having quite a bit of success with it. Firebat choosing the word deck, not going to be enough. Dart's going to take game number 1. And I do think we're going to have to go to a quick break.
Yeah.
In between this match and the next match, just to get a quick restart so we can sync up the streams a little better. Let me get a quick confirmation.
Yeah, guys, sorry about the production thing. It's like it happens every time with a new series, and it's something that we definitely will work on improving in the future. You know, speed bumps, right? Before spectator mode's out.
Yeah, it's actually a lot tougher than you would imagine. You have to have both players stream to a random stream feed, take both players' stream feeds and sync them up onto one stream and make it so you switch scenes in order to see both those cards. So if one player streams lag, then the other player's stream is going to be desynced to the game. If both players lag, then it's just a whole mess. Or if one player can't stream at all, you only get one point of view. So this should be, all of you go tweet at Blizzard that we need a spectator mode for Hearthstone. But it's like I said, it's going to get better as the weeks goes on. There's little things that we can improve on, but until then, it's gone pretty well. But let's see. We're seeing a little bit of Dart and Firebat on the stream.
Yep.
Are we
Trying to decide what deck is the best to counter Shaman with. It's not even a matter of countering Shaman. Sometimes you want to pick a deck that doesn't necessarily have the best matchup out of all your choices against Shaman, but you want to pick the deck that can like 2-0. A lot of times, for example, I don't like bringing out Hunter early because it's a deck that's like pretty easy to counter if it's just Rush Hunter. So you kind of want to save that as long as possible. It's like if I know my opponent's playing Handlock, I would rather pick Shaman into it than Hunter. Because I feel like once I win with Shaman, Shaman has a better chance of winning the game after that as well, rather than a deck like Hunter that can, you know, easily get countered after you win one. So yeah, Dart's up a game. He's just going to be looking to counter whatever his opponent plays. Whereas Firebat's behind a game, so he's trying to find a deck that can get him a nice 2-0. You know, win 2 games in a row for him, so he can get back in the lead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not restarting the stream. We're just gonna go straight into the game. So we are ready to go. That makes it easier on us. That makes it easier on our lives. So there it is. Hunter versus Shaman. Ooh, throwing in the news. The golden news.
Spicy. What if Eaglehorn Bow gets wrecked? Man, everyone's playing all these trap versions, and the traps have just been completely and utterly awful. Like every time I've seen them played, aside from Freezing Trap. But they're necessary on ladder for decks like Zoo. But in tournament settings, you don't see that deck as often. So stuff like Explosive Trap has been not very effective. It's been like a 2-mana Arcane Shot to the face.
That was the quickest turn 1 I've ever seen.
Yeah. Although Explosive Trap is actually very good against Shaman, in my opinion. I like it a lot. It makes their stuff actually die to Unleash the Hounds, which is a really big deal.
Yeah.
Alright, so you just gotta find that Buzzard. And, yeah. Well, Dart's hand is pretty awful right here. No answer from Isha, but just beyond that, it doesn't do anything. So this is looking really good for the Hunter deck, I'd say. Well, that Leroy going to go well with Unleash as well.
Yeah.
He's definitely in a good spot.
Not many answers here for these early cards from Firebat. he picked the Use in his opening hand. He got the Use in his opening hand, so that's going to be good. But
Yeah.
he's not drawing Eaglehorn Bow. So that's going to be a dead card in his hand until he does draw the Eaglehorn Bow, which, for all we know, might never come.
Absolutely. At some point, maybe just throw it out as a 3-2, but probably not. Probably just want to hold on to that. He decides to Rockbiter the totem there instead of his face. He loses the totem, but he gains 4 life effectively. I think that's correct. You also want to take that totem off the board to make Unleash the Hounds worse. I mean, like, do you even develop a trap here? It's a tough call.
I mean, why not? Even if there's nothing on the board, it's not going to go anywhere. I guess so. Never mind. Well, now you kind of have to.
Yeah. I mean, do you, though? If you let it live, your Unleash is better. It's not that much pressure.
Does have an Azure Drake for this turn, so that's going to get something on the board.
Yeah, Yeah, it's just like, with this hand, it's so difficult to just kill the hunter before they kill you. Although his Defender Vargas is going to be phenomenal with the Squire.
Still no buzzard, still no weapon. His hand is very trap heavy. And he does have the, I guess, a pseudo finisher with the Leroy Unleash combination. But, I mean, neither of these players are really drawing the best hands. And I think in that case, eventually the hunter's just going to whittle you down.
Yeah, the hero power doesn't... Hey, you don't need playables when you have hero power.
You don't care about no totems.
He's definitely in a good spot, though. It's... Yeah, I mean, even... Yeah, even if the Shaman deck somehow sets up a wall of taunts to a point where Firebat can't ever deal damage with creatures or weapons again, I think the Hunter deck will just be able to burn him out with hero power and maybe a 1-kill command that he draws before the Shaman deck has lethal. Almost certainly. That's kind of funny that they're trying to level each other on how he'd order those traps.
I mean, in a way, this is still win-win for these guys because both of them make it to the finals. A lot of bragging rights as far as their team goes.
Yeah, definitely. How does Hearth Wars work in the big picture? Now, is it like every week we were running this, or
every other week it's going to be run? And the teams that are being represented by the top 4 players. So the top 4 players' teams get automatically invited next week, and the rest of the teams can submit applications basically to Hearth Wars in order to get a spot for the upcoming weeks.
That makes sense.
Team Good Guy, of course, since 2 of the players were in, they're automatically going to be invited back to the next Hearth Wars that happens, as well as VVV, since Wampy made it to the top 4 as well. So those will be the 2 teams that participate in the next Hearth Wars. Isocast was unlisted, so he'll be invited back as a single player. But as far as a team goes, they won't be able to pick 2 players. It'll just be Isocast himself being invited back as a single player.
Cool. Well, let's see. Is it lethal? Probably not. No, it wasn't. I guess I'll have to settle for drawing his entire deck. So unlucky. Yes, it's situations like this that make Timberwolf look really good, but how do you lose the game after drawing 20 cards? With or without Bull? You know what I mean?
Oh, look, there's my whole deck.
Yeah. So brutal. I like Hunter a lot, though. It's really a skill-intensive deck to play, in my opinion. There's a lot of decisions that really have a huge impact on whether you win or lose.
2 months ago, the entire Hearthstone community would have disagreed with you.
Yeah, they still probably do. I mean, I was saying it back then, too. They all disagreed with me. But yeah, it's an opinion I've had for a while. Because so many of your spells are cheap. See, there's so many different ways you can spend your mana.
Yeah.
So it gives you like more choices in a turn than most other decks.
Well, there's the Eagle Horn Bow, so a little bit late. Ooze is already put out, so but looks like that is going to be, if I can read that right, that's going to be lethal. Okay, so he's going to tie up the game tie up the series at 1-1. So Dart still has that first win advantage. He gets to be the one that counters the deck every other time, but we'll see if Firebat can come up with a deck that's going to win a couple in a row. Right now we're tied 1-1. Dart is going to get his choice of decks to try and counter that Face Hunter. We should be jumping into the next game momentarily. We've talked about it a little bit tonight, but this always seems to come up. The first deck always seems to be countered by the Hunter, and then in the third match it always seems to be, okay, well, what counters Hunter?
Druid, every time.
Druid.
He's just going to pick Druid. And the Hunter deck can be Druid. It really depends on the draws. Like, this Hunter deck has a lot of air in it. It's like the exact opposite of the mid-range Hunter deck that I have. It's so many different ways to build Hunter. Basically, it's a complete synergy Hunter deck. It has the Timberwolves, the traps. Oh wow, he submitted warrior. Cool. Haven't seen much of this yet. Okay, well, I mean this will also do pretty well against Hunter in my opinion. But yeah, there's basically a lot of situational cards in this version of Hunter where, like, for example, if you draw Timberwolf without Unleash, it's useless. If you draw Explosive Trap, well, against Warrior at all, it's pretty useless. Misdirections, there's so many cards that are situational. So a lot of times you have a hand where you can't just chain threats into each other, but you're more hoping that your opponent plays into stuff the way that you need them to.
Yeah. From a Control Wars perspective, this is a really fun matchup to play. You mentioned that Hunter actually takes quite a bit of decision making and quite a bit of really important decision making, and I think Warrior is one of the matches where that comes into play a lot. A lot of it comes down to pretty puzzles towards the mid and late game again from Hunter to Warrior.
How do you lose this game? Double Armor Smith Whirlwind Taskmaster. My God.
Does he have the Taskmaster in his hand and the Whirlwind?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's gonna gain 50 life next turn.
Well, this isn't so much of a puzzle anymore. This is just see how much armor I can rack up before these Armor Smiths die.
I can't even count that high, Osmo.
And a shield block. Okay.
Oh, he didn't. I guess whatever.
Well,
no reason to go ham yet. You want a hero power more. Poof. I guess you roll Huffer here. That's the correct play.
As correct as it's gonna get. Hearthstone is the most skill-based game there is in the esports market right now.
Yes, sir. Cork. No, I don't like this. I would Taskmaster my own guy and armor up.
Yeah, you're getting 1 less damage, but you put 2 armor on, and you deal 1 less damage in that scenario.
You get 2 less damage, but yeah, it's still not enough to matter.
Oh yeah. I didn't count in the actual Armor Smith. Okay. What was that card that you just thought about playing? Was that a Freezing Trap?
Freezing Trap, yeah.
Okay.
See, it's situations like this where as the Hunter, I really want to concede, but then I feel bad because it's like a tournament being broadcast, so you want to play it out. Yeah, it's... Oh, man.
Your whole hand is filled with 2 to 3 drops. You don't know what to do. You're contemplating your life decisions.
Just start sending Eaglehorn Bow at face. Hope that misdirections work out the way you want them to.
Best case scenario, he throws in an Armor Smith and it kills the Korkon Elite. Well, he's just gonna, armor up. Not even attack into that.
Yeah, why not? We're on the Ragnaros plan now. I do think he has to be thinking about misdirection a bit. So you probably Taskmaster your own 4-1 and then attack with a 1-4. Because then there's no trap that it could be that involves Armor Smith dying.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
You gotta go for it here. I think so. Berserker Whirlwind.
I would have Taskmastered and then Whirlwinded. I mean, that gives him the option. That does extend a lot of creatures onto the board against Unleash, though. But man, you get a lot of armor.
I think he I don't know. Does he want to...
I mean, you can just win with Fatigue. Okay, you Whirlwind for 8 armor, I guess. Oh, do you? That's tough.
This might be good if he thinks it's a... Well, either way, by using the axe to try and... Oh, no, he's just going to pass. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a fine way of playing it. It's this is the way Ties of Time plays it a lot. Or used to, rather. Back when this matchup was common. Rush Hunter versus Warrior. No way. Please. It's no, it's how you win the game. Why? Oh, no.
There's his Huffer.
I don't know about that. What if that was... anything but Huffer. He really needed to, like, he wasn't being attacked, right? So he kind of wanted those creatures to be sitting in play. Wait till you draw Unleash, draw a million cards. Alright, so that could have been a lot worse, I guess. So this Ragnaros is going to just be able to pressure the Hunter deck without ever triggering traps, but if he draws Hunter's Mark, he can answer it.
Just doesn't seem like he's going to have enough firepower to be able to. I mean, this is sort of where the decision making for the warrior comes into play. Is playing around these traps. He's got a big armor total, but you still want to win eventually. You can't just pass every turn for the rest of the time. But the Rag play, he could just clear the board every turn, armor up, let Rag do the work.
Yep. Yeah, you have the option of just playing like a Gromosh attacking for 4 next turn, play around misdirection a bit. It's a lot of good options for him. And this deck plays Fairy Dragon too. The amount of 2-drops blows my mind. So many of the traps you're just comfortable with playing turn 2.
What's the best option? Is he just going to clear off the...
Yeah, oh boy.
That's a really dirty way to clear off a Rag.
Yeah.
That's desperation at its finest.
Oh man, that Ragnaros is good. Well, yeah, Ragnaros, or Gromosh attack. Hope you misdirect to the face. If you kill Berserker, you lose both your creatures, though. Maybe you attack with your weapon.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god.
Did he? Oh, okay, so he wins. Wow. That was a 50-50 chance of him winning. Or being in a lot of trouble.
Winning, the other play involved killing your creature and losing half your life total.
Oh, and we can see a little bit why Dart is opting to make those decisions, having a little bit of fun with the first iteration of Hearth Wars. But Dart going to take a 2-0 lead up in this series against his teammate Firebat. This has the potential to be match point. Firebat does have the option here to counter this warrior deck. He is running out of decks, though. I mean, he's got that's 2 decks that he's got down. He's only got 2 decks left to choose from. We'll have to see if he has a good answer to this warrior, or if he's going to fall to his teammate Dart in a 3-1. But that was a little bit of a rough match. I mean, especially the double armor smith early on. It's so hard to come back from that as a hunter. I mean, he just, every turn, he negated the hero power plus some. And at the end of that game, he had 11 armor. He had the option of a 50-50 whether or not to take 11 damage to the face, and he went for it. That's, you know, you're in a really good situation when that's a call that you're willing to make.
Mm.
It's going to be a Druid.
Yep, Druid versus Warrior. If it is fast Druid with like 2 Azure Drakes, the deck is favored against Warrior. But it's really going to come down to how many Azure Drakes / Ancient Allures he draws. And that Wild Growth also very important. If he sees that. He opted not to innervate Harvest Golem turn 1. I think I agree with that. You don't want War Axe to just trade 2 for 1 on its own.
Oh, he's getting lucky with the Wild Growth. Is he going to go for it, though? No, it looks like he's going to go for the Harvest Golem. Wild Growth, to me, I think is a little bit of an awkward card. Sometimes I'm afraid to play it.
Wild Growth?
Yeah.
I want to hold on to it till turn 10.
Yeah, well, if you draw it like on turn 3 or 4, or like early on, but not early enough to where it's like an automatic play, like not on turns 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's tough
Sometimes
in
it just
those
sets you
spots.
too far behind. You have to have like a perfect curve to want to use Wild Growth, and if you don't use it right away, early on, that's a lot of times it just sits as a dead card in your hand until turn 10.
That's true. That's definitely true. It's definitely can be a double-edged sword.
He's got quite a bit of removal in his hand. This is no Shield Slam though. He could opt for Whirlwind Execute.
I think I would just play Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just coin Drake 100%.
That opens you up for a lot more plays next turn.
Because if he kills the Drake with Yeti, your Whirlwind is good. Or your Cleave, like, it just makes more sense. Whirlwind rarely has use in this matchup, so I feel like just using it to deal 1 damage to 1 creature is fine. Oh, this is going to work out perfectly for him. He's going to play Yeti, kill the Azure Drake, and then Cleave just clears the board. And, yeah, the Warrior is really far ahead, actually.
Yeah, Firebat doesn't have a good hand at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, it definitely needs, like, an Ancient Lore. That's the dream. Draw Ancient Lore right now, and then you're very far ahead again.
You're still going to have to wait a turn to use it, though.
Or Karen, if he has Karen. It's, like, really important. Whoa, why are we wild growthing?
See, that's what I'm talking about. It just sits in your hand, taunting you. He's setting up if he doesn't get a card that he can play. I guess it's going to open him up for a next turn rag.
Yeah, I guess you don't want the Warrior deck to have 2 free turns. It's fair.
Yeah. But at the same time, if his deck just stays thin like this, he's not going to have the Wild Growth as like an out later on to draw another card. Ooh, well. The rag stays alive for a
sick
turn.
right here. He's going to play Ragnaros. And then, right, so, okay. So whatever happens here, Dart's going to end up copying it and killing it. But then Firebat gets to, in return, copy it and kill it again.
Maybe he just won't copy it.
Trading Ragnaros a little, yeah. Right, so he kills it, shoots him for 8. Oh my god, this game. Then he has another execute.
What's up, rag? My turn, baby.
I heal.
I pitched the idea to TLC, a new reality show. Rag swap. And this is the dangerous part for both decks. Oh my god, having to use both taskmasters as removal for one creature just feels a little bit weird to me. Now, having those 2/2s on the board is annoying for the Druid to deal with as well. Well, there's Ancient Allure. It's
I
very
think
timely.
it's the only card he could have drawn to be in this game. And now he's like very much in it again. Yeah, it was a very, very good draw. Okay, so now both players have plays. This is back to being an interesting game. The Warrior's looking for Shield Slam at this point. You could also just Grommash into this 5/5 for value, depending on what you draw. Yeah, that's probably the play here. He's already gone through Big Game Hunter, so he doesn't have to worry about that. Oh, he's going to make this play instead. I don't like this as much. This gives Firebat time to attack with Ancient Allure, get a little value from it. I guess his thinking is the Ancient Allure will kill one of his creatures, so then he just Grommash next turn. And that also gave him a chance of drawing Shield Slam.
Yeah.
Oh god, the second lore.
Whew.
That is gross.
There's all those cards that he wish he had earlier, but they couldn't come any sooner.
Yeah, now oh man. Yeah, the Warrior is just in a world of hurt at this point. This is one of the reasons you picked Druid into Warrior, though. You know, Ancient Allure, Azure Drake, Argent Commander, Karen, all these cards are so good against Warrior. It's so hard to like kill all your opponent's stuff as the warrior deck when you're playing against druid, and then on top of that somehow put together a way to win the game with that. He tried with the Ragnaros, but yeah, the faceless big game hunter counter.
Well, it's like those mid-range creatures. I mean, the warrior, the removal is really. I think it's really good at dealing with the really big creatures. But if you, like you said, if he puts out two Yetis, then you remove a Yeti, but you don't place anything on the board. So, like you said, it's hard to find win conditions while removing all of that. And I think warrior is one of the best classes, especially the control warrior, at dealing with stuff, at just cleaning the board and getting rid of a lot of stuff. They got the shield block, shield slam, whirlwind to execute, just lots of stuff to be able to clean the board. But then sometimes they just run out of steam. Like here, if you don't get the card draw that you need, if you run out of your removal before you get through their decks and they get card draw at the perfect time, like Firebat did in this match, then there's really not much you can do.
Karen plus swipe, I like that play. Definitely want to get Karen into play right now. Alright, Alexstrasza just for the 8/8. And Shield Slam for half of Karen. Yeah, I don't know if I would have done that. I probably would have saved the Shield Slam personally. I suppose he's worried that he won't have armor. If he lets it live for a turn, like if he waits, he'll get attacked.
The healing touch for good measure.
Well,
I wonder what Thomas Gray wants.
yeah, I mean, this game is more or less over at this point. Basically, the Druid deck's going to develop a creature every single turn, and the Warrior deck is going to
armor up.
It draws an answer for one creature per turn, like all while taking damage. There's almost no card that just catches you back up at this point as the Warrior.
And he silences the Acolyte of Pain. That's just brutal. That's just a little bit of overkill.
I mean, Gorehowl is honestly one of the best cards he could have drawn, if not the only card to be in it. But it's still really, really grim at this point. Although he has answered a lot of threats from the Druid deck, and that draw is useless. So yeah, you know, maybe, just maybe. Nope, never mind. That commander's GG.
After all the rag swapping, I got a little confused, but I think Dart still has his actual rag left in his deck, because the first rag initiated from Firebat's side, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely, yep.
There it is.
Oh! You double. Well, I guess you kill Keeper. Maybe you pop Bubble, actually. I don't even know.
Come on, Rag. Show me the money.
What do you even want it to shoot here?
Face 3 times in a row? Or twice in a row?
He drew Gorehowl into Rag. Like, this is actually a game. That blows my mind.
Nope. See a Rag.
Yeah, I guess you kill it here.
What's his health total? Is that 17?
Yeah, it looks like 17.
Okay.
6, 7, 8. It's 5, 13. I mean, you could put your opponent to 4 right now. Let him keep Rag.
He really doesn't have any. Oh, God. That's the worst draw ever.
Yeah. Well, it makes up for the last 2, I think. Well, yeah, I don't think he's drawing a Force of Nature at this point either. No, maybe 1. Yeah, there we go. It's just a matter of cleaning up at this point. The Ragnaros needed to survive probably for like 2 turns.
Yeah. I don't think there's really anything that he can draw at this point. Oh, God. Well, he can clear. Shield Slam up. Clear the Iron Commander. What is that set him at? Was that 6 plus 2 armor? 8 plus 2 armor? 4 plus 2 armor? 4 plus 2 armor. So that should be game with a Savage Roar, if that is in fact a 6. No, it won't be. Okay, he just concedes. Alrighty, well that's going to bring it to a game number 5. We'll see what Dart decides to bring out as his last deck. And again, this comes down to the first game win advantage. He gets the final say in what deck he gets to play against this Druid. And do you think the Handlock is going to make an appearance?
Yeah, I mean, what is that his only choice left?
He does have 2 choices left, actually. He has 4 decks to choose from. He's gone through 2 so far. So let me look real quick. I'm not actually sure which deck he opted to discard.
I mean, if he did pick Handlock, I think it would come down to whether the Druid drew Big Game Hunter, like I mentioned earlier. Like if you have Big Game Hunter in your opening hand early, it's really easy to like shift the momentum of the game. Like once the Handlock deck falls behind, it's basically impossible to catch up without Molten Giant, and the Druid deck will never get you in Molten Giant range without killing you. So. Yeah, if he draws Big Game Hunter, I think the Druid deck's going to win. If he doesn't draw it early, then I feel like Handlock is probably going to win.
He actually doesn't have a Handlock registered. So the first game was he's gone through the Shaman and the Warrior deck thus far, correct? As far as Dart's gone. Based off of which deck he decided to discard, what he has left is a Rogue, a Druid, and a Hunter.
I would go Rogue if I'm Dart here.
Whoa! He goes with the Druid, so we're going to have the coin flip, the 50-50, going with the mirror match for all the marbles.
All right, let's see who's better at drawing Wild Growth.
Or Innervate Yeti. Innervate Yeti. Dart's happy about that one.
Look at that, keeping Karen. That's ballsy. I would never even consider that because it's not Wild Growth.
It's a very slow curve for Firebat in his deck.
I think Chillwind Yeti is about to make sweet, passionate love to Firebat's life total for like 3-4 turns.
If Dart draws a Wild Growth, okay, whew. That would have been the dream Druid turn that you were talking about earlier. Yeah. The Innervate Yeti into Wild Growth into Yeti.
Oh, jeez. Well, I think you hero power the Yeti there. I don't like that as much. Because you're going to want to do it anyway, right? Like, all your stuff deals 4 damage. Your own Yeti, your swipe.
Sometimes you just got to take it.
Yeah. And
he could have set up for a coin swipe this turn, I believe. But chances are I'll probably just coin out the Yeti.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta play Yeti, I think. I think he's regretting keeping that Cairn. I really do.
You have to think of it from a standpoint. Even if there was no Innervate Yeti, even if there was no Wild Growth from either side, keeping a Cairn, I mean, it's a great card, I think, in the matchup. Unless, of course, your opponent has a keeper that they're sitting on. Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, that's a Yeti that they have to basically spend the keeper on, plus another card to be able to clear it. So it's a good card in the matchup, but just 6 mana, really? You're going to keep that? Yeti versus Yeti.
Yeah, this is... Oh, man, this is ugly. I think... Yeah, you have to play Yeti and go face. I agree with that. That's what I would do. Oh, this game looks so good for Dart. Jeez. You just drew Innervate too. It's like... This is the dream.
He trusted in his ability to draw better than Firebat in this mirror matchup.
Yeah, well played. And it's like... That's just the nature of any mirror match, though. You know, if both players play it perfectly, it's just going to come down to draws. That's what makes the difference. So, if... Maybe Dart's deck is built a bit differently. I don't know. They look pretty similar to me. Pretty standard Druids. But yeah,
I think Druid deck is probably the most follows that rule the most. How in a mirror match it comes down to who draws better, because I think as far as how straightforward a Druid deck is in decision making,
yeah.
you don't really.
Oh, he shouldn't have done that. Well, he should have made that play, but he should have. Well, no, I guess that's fine if he's going to do that instead of trade. Yeah, never mind. That play's fine. That was probably his best play. Oh man, I've been streaming Ozmo for about 13 hours at this point.
It's been a long day.
It has. These games have been fun though. I like this tournament so far.
Yeah, we're seeing some good games.
Wrathkeeper, yep. Yeah, it's just like once this Druid deck gets ahead, it's so good at staying ahead, and once it gets behind, it's so bad at catching up.
Yeah.
So in the mirror match, like this, of all the matchups we've seen today, this has to be the most snowbally. Because yeah, not only is this Druid deck so good at snowballing early leads, but when you're the Druid deck that's behind, you can't catch up at all. So
great at keeping leads, even great at letting your opponent keep their lead. Oh well, I think you just go to face here. I mean, what do you have to lose at this point?
Yeah, I agree.
You could have oh wow, okay, well both to face, so that just sets him up for a swipe lethal next turn if he doesn't heal up. I think he does have the healing touch. I think you saw the healing touch in the last game. That's a card that he knows he has, but even with that, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, the only way he survives here is like Druid of the Claw taunt, hero power, I guess. Yeah. Well, looks like he's gonna opt to do that.
Where shall I strike?
So, do you go for the Ragnaros? Oh, never mind.
Oh, you mean the Swagneros?
We're just getting Swiperino, it looks like. Didn't hero power. Decided Wild Growth instead.
Yeah. Is he not up lethal? Or is that 3? Oh, he's at 3 health. Okay, well, that's
I think
lethal
he's
anyway.
just hero powered instead of swiping. Maybe I'm not seeing it right. And he's at 3 instead of 4.
He's at 3, yeah. This is the
Oh,
ultimate
okay,
the ultimate
yeah,
teammate BM
Well
from
played.
Dart. Oh, jeez. Firebat.
The issue with BMing in this way is that Firebat's not seeing it, right? So you need to, like, there's no emotes happening.
I'm sure he'll rub the bod in his face later on.
That's fair.
He's gonna put it on a loop.
You
Just get him
better.
doing that little finger wag on a loop over and over and over again. Alrighty, well, congratulations to Team Good Guy Dart. After a grueling best of 5 final, he's going to take it 3-2 over his teammate Firebat to the very first buy-in Hearthstone tournament, Hearth Wars. Dart is going to be the champion, but congratulations to Team Good Guy as a whole. Having at a 16 players, 7 teams were invited to this. Having both of the players that you invited from your team make it to the finals, really got to commend them for that. That was really great play coming out from that. We saw a lot of great play today. We saw a couple of interesting decks. What were your thoughts on the matches this far today, in specific the final best of 5 that we saw between Dart and Firebat?
Yeah, Shaman looked pretty good throughout the day. In the final, it was whoever, like, Dart won the first game, right? And then they countered each other back and forth until it came down to a Druid mirror, and that was a decider. Dart drew significantly better, and that was it. I like that. It seemed like both players had pretty similar decks. It makes sense, they're on the same team. Nothing super exciting in terms of decks. I mean, the Hunter deck was a little bit unique, really heavy on traps, Timberwolves, all that. But it looked like pretty standard Druid, Warrior. Just good, solid decks that they played well. And yeah, it worked out for them. And yeah, congrats to Team Good Guy and Dart for winning.
The only interesting deck I think we saw today was, at the very beginning, Duckwing Face's Priest deck.
Yeah, and his Mage deck.
And his Mage deck, too. The Double Silence Mind Vision Priest.
Yeah. He likes his Mountain Giants.
He definitely enjoys his Mountain Giants. But that's going to be it for Hearth Wars. I just want to give you guys a little bit of information. You can go ahead. I'm going to have an admin post it, hopefully, in the Twitch chat right now. You can take a look at our Reddit thread We have a lot of information about all the players that participated in the event, a lot of information about the event in general. You can also participate in some discussion in that Reddit thread. I know we're going to have some of the admins head on over there. Also, in the future, I know Reynad was nice enough to let us use his Twitch channel, but we are going to have our own Twitch channel eventually in the future. It is up and running right now. It is twitch.tv/HearthWars, so you can go ahead and follow that. Also, our Twitter, just at HearthWars. Make sure you give that a follow for more information about this tournament. Like we said, we had some production hiccups today, but we're working on those. You can email your feedback about the tournament if you do have any feedback for us. We're always like to listen to the viewers because you guys are what make this happen. You can email at hearthwars@gmail.com, or of course in the Reddit thread that we should be providing. And I'm sure the admins have been perusing the stream and the Twitch chat as deep and gunky as it is for some feedback for there. So again, thank you, Reynad, for joining me on this cast today. I know it's been a long one. I hope you had at least somewhat of a good time casting these games.
Fun. Thanks for having me.
So thank you, everybody. A big shout out to all the volunteers that made this happen, all the admins, Nimerick, Slight, everybody that helped out with making this tournament possible. Again, we're looking to make this a long-term thing. It's a really cool idea, a buy-in Hearthstone tournament. Hopefully the prize pools are just going to get larger as the week goes on. But we will be broadcasting again in 2 weeks. We'll announce whether or not it's going to be on our Twitch channel or not. And Reynad, I'm just going to give you a couple minutes if you have any shout-outs to your team or anything you want to shout out, your Twitter. This is your Twitch channel.
Yeah, I don't know, just the usual stuff, right? Like, shout out to Tempo Storm, tempostorm.com. Good job to Tides and Gar for trying this tournament, some different stuff. Yeah, it didn't go their way today, but, you know, it happens as cards. Anything happens in best of threes, man. So it's super volatile. It's like the first game. I think that really two really good players won, though. I was really happy with how both of them played. And, yeah, shout out to Team Good Guy, Dart, those guys. And HyperX, and yeah, shout out to everyone who made it happen. Yeah, pretty much just like you said, Azuma. Hopefully, yeah, the production will definitely improve next time. Like, we know exactly what the problems were. Won't happen again. And yeah, thanks to you guys for watching. See you next time.
All righty, you heard him there. See you in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Hearth Wars.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching this this small pack of videos from Hearth Wars. It was the first time hosted. It was the first season, so to say, and that was all the footage I could gather. It's all of it anyway, so there are bits and pieces that I cut out because there were problems with the streams, synchronizing the player streams and all that. But there were some good games. I hope you guys liked it, and leave a comment, watch the other videos. I might put some annotations and such somewhere around the video. And yeah, I do appreciate it. I saw your guys' feedback and I would like more. The idea is that you want more videos, and I'm gonna start working more on the channel itself. I'm gonna do my best to post content as much as possible. I'm not gonna set a schedule just yet. I'm just gonna post as much as I can. I'm trying to post only quality stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Hearth Wars, and see you guys next time.